Peasant Productions presents the Math of ESP, why it works even if you don't believe in it. Gonna kind of, especially because I just did the computer simulation number 69 fun and games stuff there. And one of the things I want to point out here as far as the computer simulation stuff is, remember you have something very similar going on with Star Trek with the holodecks, where they have these holodeck light emitter cameras that produce stuff that is so solid. You can be hiking up a mountain, you can be having sex with a boyfriend, girlfriend in the holodeck. You can have food. You can have a square rigger out in the ocean sailing along. Yes, it makes pretty much whatever you want. And it also had a thing called the arch, and basically it was all it would bring this arch thing in as part of the holodeck stuff, but it was your link or your control accessing the computer that was maintaining and running the holodeck and the programs and things that were running and stuff like that. And when you get into the really high level depths of enlightenment and you start understanding that there are trillions upon trillions upon trillions of universes, there are trillions being created every microsecond, there is so much life within one universe, there is so much going on within one universe, that there's no way that human beings could ever exist as the most important thing in all of reality and all of existence. It's an extreme ego trip, okay? And this is why I say that the religions, regardless of whether they're based off of the little fables and storybook stuff to scare children in the bed at night that the Bible is built on, or they are actual real facilities and actions of like Buddhism, which goes into the meditation practices, teaches you certain things. They put a limit, a cap. The highest level of Buddhism is to sit in an enclosed room and meditate on being one with the universe. If there's trillions of universes, why do you want to meditate as your highest achievable level as being one with that one particular universe you are? There is something beyond that. Okay, so that's why I say there's always more, there's always learning, there's always stuff going on. The gods themselves have learned stuff from me, I learned from them, I learned from the world around me, I learned from what was classically called a moron when I was a kid, and I learned from the people that are intelligent. I learned to have one heck of a belly laugh for the rest of my life from good old stupid idiot Donald Trump. A guy who literally professes to only be 120 IQ, which is the standard level of IQ of the American population for them, and they think that this is the absolute bliss of life because they've got their Duck Dynasty or the Real Housewives of Timbuktu or the NASA race cars or Formula One race cars or anything of that entertainment level. They think all life is about is being entertained and fed. And these people achieve nothing in life. And Donald Trump is literally that level of intelligence. 120 IQ. At over 200, the nearest thing that I can equate myself with right now is Tesla and Da Vinci. Those two people seriously worked in numerous fields, and everything they took on, they proved to have capable understanding of. I too am in that realm. That does not mean there is nobody else like my level of intelligence around. It just means that I'm so far up the ranks that it really is stupid for me to even bother trying to put any kind of number on it, because I haven't really found a problem I cannot try and find and actively find a solution for. Even my even my needing a miracle here, even the gods walking up at the last minute and saying, hey Peter, we know these humans have trashed on you your whole entire life. We know they have done all kinds of dirty stuff. We know the United States government is one of the most corrupt, crookedest, slimiest things that we have ever seen come into existence. It feeds back down through a lineage that goes all the way back to the Roman orgies and the Roman elite, which is exactly why you have the Vatican that is constantly being caught in sexual perversions, orgies, gay orgies, the whole bit. Roman Empire went to Vatican, created it, and they created this whole thing. And of course they kept all of their perversions. And they now bring that in. So in doing all this stuff and showing all this stuff, we kind of end up where what I'm saying about how I needed a miracle here and now. And let's just say that a good many years ago, let's see if I can do this without creating too much of a problem for myself here. There we go. Okay. When I, in 1983, sent the letter to President Reagan, and I purposely wrote it so that they would steal it. And I did all of the things that advertising and psychology stuff would do. I ended up using my own mathematics. Okay, I knew I needed to do something kind of weird. I knew that I would need it in the future. Okay, the future was coming. There has never been anybody attempt to realistically look at all of these problems in one single barrel. Everybody wants to divide it all down. Why? Because you have Roman divide and conquer, okay? If you have 50 issues and you have everybody running in 50 directions and all 50 issues are related to one common cause, wouldn't it be interesting if everybody stopped and focused on the one common cause instead of the 50 derivatives of it? But no, we sell derivatives. That's why we had a financial crash. That's why it's going to happen again, because all these countries are printing fake money. They are printing money. I was just listening to some guy who was looking back through some charts and stuff, and U.S. Federal Reserve claims that it has printed $4 trillion in the past, since 2008. In the past 10 years, there's been like $4 trillion. And when you actually open up the books and look into their numbers, you find that there's actually something more like $16 trillion been printed and is in deficit to the Federal Reserve by the United States government. Yeah, considerably more than anybody wants to admit to, and that's why Donald Trump, of course, gave all that money to the rich people, is because they know in a very short period of time it's going to take $1 million to buy a single potato. You know, you might get lucky, and for $100,000 US you get an egg. Okay, it's going to get really hungry real soon. The companies are shutting down. Anyway, so we're going to go all the way back here, kind of the beginning. And like I said, you know, you have A equals A, math of ESP, A equals A, B equals B, A plus B equals A plus B. But B plus A does not equal A plus B. You can have them in a different order, therefore you have a different equation. Modern scientific mathematics, like I said, they consider that an equal. They do not consider placement and the object and the situation and all of the functionality. They only see an A and a B and an A and a B, and oh hey, they're all equal. That's fine, no problem. And the same happens here, where it's not all linked out, and you also here, if you have A plus B, it's not equal to A plus B plus C minus C. Okay? You put something in, you take it back out. In the math of ESP, you must include that action. It has to be there. It happened, it exists within existence, so it must be recorded and it must be considered in the summation. Modern science doesn't accept that. Okay, that's why in the 1970s, as the acid rain stuff was really starting to hit. Everybody was starting to realize that acid rain was coming from coal and oil burning in huge amounts. There was definitely an issue of the SO2 going in, and if you look at the current SO2 emissions map, that is, you go online, you find this, you can find the satellite image. It shows you what is currently going on. The countries that have high SO2 emissions, the areas of countries that have high SO2 emissions, have the highest levels of extreme weather now. Yeah. An absolute direct correlation. China, Japan, India, subcontinent India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Myanmar, Vietnam, the Micronesia, all these areas, they use huge amounts and very pollutive, low quality, high sulfur diesel fuels, and they do, especially China, which does a huge amount of manufacturing for the whole world, and especially the United States, which imports something. I think we used to import something like 15 to 20% of China's exports. They use a huge amount of coal, and they are getting repeatedly hit with super cyclones. SO2, what's it do? Cools off the upper atmosphere, heats up the lower atmosphere. Lower atmosphere heats up, it's over the oceans, it pulls up more moisture, it makes a bigger, stronger convection package. It gets high enough as the heat rises, it hits with that cold layer up there. The two combine, you have thunderstorms. Thunderstorms create hurricanes, cyclones, typhoons. Gee, you have the absolute engine for making these things. You have absolute physical proof that humans are directly correlating and disrespecting their own planet and creating their own problems, because acid rain is a problem. It causes mutation. Again, your pH, where's my pH balance in here somewhere? Oh, I don't have that in there. Well, anyway, that was supposed to be on there somewhere, but I'm talking about it with here and here. But you have your pH balance, high acid, high alkaline. You shift those back and forth. The bacteria and viruses in that environment will also shift, mutate to adapt to the conditions, okay? Same way you're going to put on a coat when it's cold outside, and you're going to put on a thin little, breezy t-shirt or something like that because it's a steaming hot, humid day. You have this going on. You cannot walk away from it. You have absolute evidence of this. And, like I say over here, you have, for me, needing my miracle, okay, I had an exact moment in time that I knew would arrive. I did not know what that arrival is. It's kind of like people sitting there running around with the Bible story saying, oh, Christ is coming, but nobody knows when. You kind of know when because all the signs are given to you. You know that Christ is going to show up. And you have an exact place and time. This planet and pollution stuff beyond control. These all fit up. I've got my stuff together. I've put it all in there. So I have my reason for miracle. I've been putting energy into it for 58 years. It's 1960 I was told that this is going to happen. I wasn't told I was going to have to rescue anybody's butt. I was just told this was going to happen. Okay? I set things in motion. I had the faith that because I do know how to, with my extremely high ability to think and in use of intelligence, so I can correlate lots of data, I had the ability to really watch what's going on and see what's happening. So I have used the math of ESP 100%. I am proving that it is viable 100% in front of you because you are now stuck with exactly what you wanted. We're going to wait for the miracle of Jesus Christ coming back. Okay. Keep praying. Keep praying. It's better than doing anything, right?